Good afternoon. Today, 2004 Honda Element, the VVT Solenoid had gone kaput. Real simple to tell besides the code 2646 or 2647. Actually, they're very different, but 2646 basically says that you're having a problem, and once the engine's hot and it's doing it, if you have a manual transmission, it makes 2800 RPMs, falls back down to 2500 RPMs, back up to 2800 RPMs, back down to 2500 RPMs. It's dead after 2800 RPMs. So, and 2646 says you've got that problem. Now this thing, a few tips and tricks to it. One, yeah, it's back there, it's right there. Take off the bracket, 10 millimeter, pull the hose out, take a rope, and tie the hose the heck out of the way. It makes it 100% easier. You can get both hands down there. 3 bolts are real simple to do. If when you pull it out and the strainer is clogged with crap, and this was like 4 times worse than that, before you put a new one on, I highly recommend firing it up and let it run for just a second. Yeah, it's going to make a hell of a mess, but I learned the hard way that there's still crap in that oil tube, and it started clogging number 2. So fire it up, clean up the mess later, and it will blow all the crap that fell out of the strainer back into the oil tube and save you that headache. If you get a 2647, both 2646 and 2647 can relate to this. This is the oil pressure switch right here, and the 2646 says it's not getting enough pressure. 2647 says that either the switch isn't seeing a ground or the PCM's not reading it. So if you get a 2647, unplug this one. It's the one closest to the engine and the hardest one to get to without pulling wires out. Flip the plug over, and with your multimeter, put the red lead of your meter on constant 12 volts right at the battery. Take your black lead of your meter and probe one of the 2 pins on the plug, and that way you're actually testing not just the wires, but you're testing the plug. With the ignition on, one wire should show you ground. Again, that's with red lead of your meter on constant 12 volts, black lead of your meter on the factory plug for this. One will show you battery voltage, 12 volts, if the engine's running 14 volts. The other one will show you millivolts. As long as you have both of those readings, then you know that that plug is most likely good, that the wires are most likely good, and that you've got a problem within this switch, which was number 2 of these that came up with 2647, because that switch was bad right out of the box. You can pick them up from Dorman, unlike somebody was saying. There's the Dorman part number for them. Just when you get it, make sure that you look at it, and if these 3 holes have any scarring on them, send it back. Don't waste your time. Make sure you get one without any scarring, that's never shown that it's mounted, or that the oil pressure switch looks like somebody's replaced it and put another one back in the box. Other than that, it's a super simple fix. Clear the codes and drive it. You'll be up and running.